We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet, where we have a casual, informal conversation about Star Trek discussion. Today we're focused on Star Trek Discovery, Rosetta. We are not going to talk about Star Trek Picard. Everyone's so hype about Star Trek Picard, and I don't blame them. It was pretty awesome. Have you seen it yet, by the way? Just out of curiosity, Braxton?
Dude, I have not. I was thinking that, that this is like hyperbole. I feel like multiple people have been like, oh my gosh, this is like the best Star Trek I've ever seen.
Hey,
and I was like, dude, like this Star Trek cannot be that good, dude.
Can I just say, our friend PJ said that, and that's a big deal. Like, that guy does not, PJ does not F around with like high praise. Like, he's the first one to be like, that shit sucks.
Dude, I feel like multiple people have said this, dude.
We're not going to talk about Star Trek Picard, but Braxton, at 10 o'clock tonight, we're going to do a space. It's Twitter Spaces. It's like a new thing for Starfleet Boy. I tested it out last night. It was pretty cool. And we're going to talk about
tonight?
10 o'clock tonight. We're going to Star Trek Picard Space. So you have until then to watch it.
Dude,
and
as soon as we get off, dude, I got to watch it.
You got to wait. Maybe we could watch it. Are you down to watch it together? Like, can I like watch your reactions?
Sure.
You sure? That's sure. Cool? Oh, I want to see your reactions. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll do a watch along. I don't know. But anyway, I'm like insanely hype about it, and we're definitely going to talk about that on Twitter Spaces later. But tonight, right now, at this moment, we're focused on Star Trek Discovery, and I'm excited to talk about it. I kind of think that like it's a lot to release like such a huge episode of Star Trek Picard on the same night as like, as we're winding down on Discovery. But hey, you know what? We're here to roll with the punches and go with it. So let's do it.
I wonder why they didn't schedule them differently. Like, it seems like they should have like held Picard until Discovery was over, because now like you've got Picard stealing Discovery's thunder.
It's a little bit of that. Yeah, I 100% agree. But they know what they're doing over there, right? Like, those guys know what they're doing. I will say that I can't imagine waiting. I have to wait 2 weeks before I get, so I got lucky and I got to see Star Trek Picard. 2 episodes. I saw 2 episodes, yeah. So next week and then the week after, so I have to wait even longer to know what happens, which it's a blessing and a curse to go to those premieres. But I just have to say, like, yeah, I'm super hype about it. I think you'll be too. I can't wait to see what your reaction is. But anyways, okay. Braxton, what about Disco tonight? It's called Rosetta, and I love it when you give a little summary. So what happened?
Oh yeah, Rosetta Stone, like figuring out like how to communicate. Oh, dude, like I have a hard time remembering what happened because I feel like not a lot happened. Since I feel like not a lot has happened.
It wasn't
the DMA.
Like, we didn't get like so they are protracting it out a little bit, but I don't mind. I kind of dig it. Like there's definitely stuff in this episode that I think we're going to talk about and deep dive into, but do you want me to just do the summary and you'll kind of jump in?
Well, I can do the summary.
Okay, go.
Okay. So it's decided that Burnham, Saru, Detmer and the doctor are going to do an away mission. They're going to the planet where the people who are the 10C used to live, and it's protected by like a barrier. So they take a shuttle down. I think that the suits, the environmental suits, like look really, really cool.
Yeah, they're very cool. The EV suits, yeah, very cool.
Saru starts to experience like symptoms of the Bahara,
Yeah, he gets a little psychotic there. Yeah, he's got a little crazy.
But they find bones of something that is very, very large. They find.
I just want to say I predicted the 10C were going to be giants, and it looks like that's going to happen. But anyways, carry on.
They find mass graves, and then
some kind of catastrophe happened. Like asteroids started falling onto the planet, and they had to like get the F out of there. Yeah.
Tarka still being manipulative. I feel like Book book backslid a little bit for me this week after advancing a little bit over the past couple of weeks. Tarka, sans his sad story about like friends loss, is just like manipulative and terrible. So yeah, like everybody ends up experiencing, kind of what Saru is experiencing because the aliens have like this dust that is like carrying their like experiences, and like as they venture through their planet, they find um, a, a nursery, so they know that like these people like experience emotions, they have experienced pain, they also experience love for their young. So I feel like Rosetta Stone, means that okay, like we experience the same things, and like, we now feel like we can communicate with them because like we have like this kind of like dust or something. I feel like the dust does something, but I can't like think about what it does right now.
So yeah,
Um,
so it's a chemical compound that's very similar to pheromones, and
mhm,
so
mm,
we speculate that the 10C communicate similarly to like how certain species communicate with pheromones, like humans kind of
yeah,
humans
like
communicate.
bees.
Yeah, bees especially. Yeah, exactly. And
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So yeah, also Tarka um takes Nataro's character, what's her name?
Well, yeah. So Book and Tarka come up with this crazy plan where they're thinking, okay, well we gotta take action. So we're gonna recruit General Ndoye
Hmm.
into our scheme, and we're gonna hide from Zora and piggyback on the discovery and just kind of like ride into the 10C. And while they're doing their negotiations, like Tarka's gonna pull the plug on the DMA. This guy's got freaking balls because like these guys are crazy advanced, and he thinks he can just like disable their stuff. I mean, he disabled their DMA, and now they put a bigger, badder one, and it's headed straight for Earth. Like I don't know what I'm like. Well, anyways, carry on. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, they kidnap freaking Jet Reno. Yeah, it's like
Jarena,
it's
yeah.
nuts, and that's
So
how
so I
the
was
episode
thinking
ends.
that they like cut a scene where Tarka and Jet Rena had a struggle. Like I was imagining that like he like shot her with a phaser, set to
Oh
skull,
yeah, or something like that. Yeah, he probably like did something. Yeah, it's true. She was hilarious sitting there and like, oh, this is not how you thought it was gonna be, or something like surprise, I'm here. Although I think it's gonna end up being, I speculate that it's gonna end up being that while she's Jet Reno seems like like the type of person who's like, well, I'm here, I might as well help, or like try to figure it out, like help you guys see the light. I think she might end up helping them see the error of their ways, maybe, but I don't know. Good summary. Good summary. Nice brief summary. So what were the highlights of this episode for you, Braxton?
General Ndoye made this comment like I forget if she was talking to the Federation president or she was talking to like one of like the other political characters, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like your opportunities increase as you like do something, as you like take actions and stuff." Like that's too simplistic for what it was, but it was something that I remembered. I feel like that actress doesn't get that many lines where she's like not being a warmonger and a jerk, and that was like a really good line for
Yeah.
her. Hmm um, like I thought that the planet looked cool. I do like the suits that they were wearing, but mostly, I enjoyed seeing Tignataro, but I don't think that this is an episode that I'll necessarily remember. You
Well, it's
know.
I think it's like a very like it's like a very exposition heavy episode. Like there's a lot of information you get, but it's like one of those
Mhm.
episodes like once you got the information, like do you really need to go back, and there's not like any kind of spectacular scene or anything like that like
It
you'll
was a
go back.
good Detmer episode. We
Yeah,
found
that's
out
true.
more
Yeah.
about her. I feel bad that like she like didn't feel loved, you know.
I know her like we're getting a lot more information about her. I found out from the interwebs that Emily Coots, who plays Detmer, who's on the Star Trek cruise, got to introduce this episode and show it to the folks on the Star Trek cruise
Oh
a
wow.
little early, like just like last night, like probably the show drops like at
Mhm.
like midnight
Yeah.
Pacific time. So they
Hmm.
got to see it early and she introduced it and I imagine there was like a Q&A. I haven't caught up on the interwebs yet. So I have to kind of like see how that was, but that was pretty cool. Like I'm getting so much FOMO being, not being on the Star Trek cruise. Father's there though, and so that'll be cool to see his
Dude,
breakdown when he gets
just
back.
wait, dude. You got 5 weeks until Star Trek Chicago,
I
dude. You know all
know
those people will be
Mission
jealous of
Chicago is
you.
gonna be redonkulous. I wonder who else. Did you see that guest list is starting to fill up really nicely? Do you think we'll get
Dude, the
like
guests are filling up nicely.
it is? Do you think we'll
Hmm.
get Admiral Picard like Jean-Luc himself? I wonder if they're holding back to let
Hey.
us know about that. Um, Stress Free K was saying, I like how we didn't see the struggle. She just pops up. I feel like Jet will help Book stop Tarka.
Hmm.
And also notice how Jet Reno only appears with one or two other characters because they were shooting in the height of COVID. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh,
Hmm.
oh, Ruben's in the audience. Hey, Ruben, come by our space later on for Star Trek Picard because I feel like you're going to love this episode of Star Trek Picard. Uh, Ruben's going to. Anyways, it's a whole nother conversation. Um, yeah, the Detmer stuff was really profound. It was like yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff. Like I feel like that's interesting that like we get tastes of this throughout the series. Like I don't know, I don't want to say abusive, but like definitely difficult.
Hmm.
We have this idea that like in the future everything's like honky dory and like people all grow up the same and no one
Hmm.
has problems anymore. But I
Hmm.
never found that to be very realistic. Like I think that like when we do get hints of something different, like in Star Trek, like for example, when Riker's dad shows up, you can see there's a lot of tension between the two of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like Riker straight up like almost hates his dad
Hmm.
in TNG, and so this is interesting. We haven't met like we're not going to meet the parents except maybe in
Hmm.
flashbacks of like the disco characters, but like we knew early on that Tilly's mother was a very difficult mother and kind of
Hmm.
overbearing and like that stuff. And now we learn that Detmer's father kind of lost his way after her mother died,
Hmm.
and he was just distant and not loving. And so
He
it was
was
so
so
yeah,
depressed and so down he couldn't be there for his daughter. You
yeah, for his daughter. So he was just probably like a shell of a person, like
know? Hmm.
whatever. And that's hard, man, because like that's not like that's a hard thing because when you're I could relate to that, like losing a partner that you love deeply must be
Hmm.
like just especially if you put your whole world into that person, like it must be really like kind of a hard thing to deal with. But yeah,
Hmm.
that the Detmer stuff was a real highlight. She was also a hero in this episode. She kept
Hmm.
calm and cool and figured out the issue that was making everyone else hallucinate and go crazy, and she helped,
Hmm.
like she created the filter on the EV suit and then they all like became sane again.
Hmm.
And then
I
I
thought
have
it
to
was maybe her implants or something that like
oh, maybe, but yeah,
you
but
know.
she never touched the blue dust or whatever, so maybe that
Hmm.
was it.
Hmm. Yeah, that was
Uh and then yeah, so she figures that out, but then to me like I was like, okay, this episode's kind of like, whatever, but what was really powerful about it to me was like the acting, like when they all touched the 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 nursery dust
it.
and they
Hmm.
feel how safe I'm getting all choked up right now just even thinking about when they felt that safety of how the baby 10 C's felt, like they felt like they were safe and secure even though they all died, but they felt like
Hmm.
they were all safe and secure. And like like that's like all a kid wants, right? Like a little baby is crying and then their parent picks them up and nothing else
Hmm.
matters. They just like, whatever. And
Hmm.
so that emotion or that like feeling was transferred through this like compound or whatever.
Hmm.
And I thought the the performances of all of them, but especially to me, Sonequa Martin Gree, like her
Mhm.
like her expression, like
Mhm.
I'm watching this like early in the morning in my bed, like
Mhm.
I'm kind of half asleep, right? But
Mhm.
that woke me up, and I started
Mhm.
crying like a little
Mhm.
baby
Mhm.
because it was so powerful, and each of them like kind of like delivered that. So I think that was definitely the highlight
Mhm.
of the episode. And I like spent the day a little while just like kind of feeling comforted in a really weird way. Like
Mhm.
it reminded me of that same feeling of safety and protection that we all get.
Mhm.
But again,
Yeah.
heartbreaking that Detmer was like, I have never felt this before. Like this is the first time she felt
Mhm.
it, and so
Mhm.
pretty wild.
You know, like, and that's tough. Like, because I mean, I was imagining that maybe like she had like a normal, loving mother, and like I don't know, maybe she would remember like being like held like as a 4-year old or something, or a 5-year old by her mother, and she would remember that fondly. But yeah.
But no, not for our poor Detmer. Stress free
Hmm.
case saying both Tilly and Detmer had a horrible parental figure. Yeah, I mean, like, I think Tilly's mom's kind of horrible, but I don't know if I can, based on what I've learned, I don't know if I can blame Detmer's dad. Like, his heart just broke. I mean, like, yeah, it's horrible that he couldn't pick himself up for his daughter, but maybe she reminded him so much of his. Why? I mean, that's tough, I don't know. It's
Also,
a
also, I have I've had really domineering parents, especially my father. I don't think that it is a horrible thing to have parents who push you really hard, and expect a lot out of you. Um,
I grew up
you
in an
know,
Asian family, so I understand what you're saying, but I
I
hated
don't
it.
think I
I
don't think that's
completely hated
I
it.
don't think I don't think that's a horrible. I don't think that's a horrible, necessarily a
I
horrible
was
thing
so
for them
mad
to
at
say.
my
Like,
parents. I was so mad at my parents in my early teens. I was very. You guys think I'm like nice and sweet and stuff like that, but if you talk to my parents, when I went through my rebellion, it was not fun for that for anyone. It's all I gotta say.
I, I
And
agree.
that was a direct result of my parents pushing us hard. Like they pushed
Mhm.
us hard. That their dreams for me were to be a doctor or a lawyer. So you can
Mhm.
imagine, like,
Mhm.
so it doesn't
Yeah,
work
that's what
on
you
every.
really want.
I think you're right though that like it's good to like challenge your children and like get them to see the potential, and it worked for you maybe like your parents, like every parents differently, so maybe your parents approach works, but in general that approach did not work for me. It backfired on my poor parents, and I like so it's, I think it's case by case, but I do feel you. It's like sometimes parents are convinced that they're doing the right, like that's the reason I don't want to use the word horrible for Detmer's dad is exactly what you're saying. Like, I don't think he was a pushing type of parent. He was more of an absent type of parent. But
Mhm.
it just sounds like he was already dealing with issues, and like the one person he like focused all his devotion to died, and then
Mhm.
he died too. Like essentially what Detmer grew up with was a corpse of a person, like a person who was
Mhm.
just living because he had to or something like that is what it sounds
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
Not sure how far they're going to take this character development, but it was still interesting to get that little piece of Detmer. Detmer actually played a huge role in this episode because
Mhm.
Adira comes into play as well. Remember, she like admits to Reno that she admires Detmer because Detmer always seems like very calm and collected and cool and like under pressure and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And and I like the line. I feel like that too. Like I like the line that Jet Reno says, like, just whatever you do, don't say like I want to be you, because that's gonna creep her out or whatever. But
Tignataro is so funny, dude.
Tignotaro's, whenever Tignotaro's on the show, like it takes it to another level, right? Like
Yeah.
even if nothing's going on, like Jet Reno just like makes it a little bit better. But what
Yeah.
did you think of Adira in this episode?
Teenage, awkward. She's like, "Ooh, yeah, like
But she's like
fly good."
she's like especially awkward. Do you
Mhm.
think, or maybe we were all
She
like
is,
that? Maybe we
dude.
were
She
like,
is. I mean,
yeah,
but she's like 17, so
yeah,
so like, yeah, that's time for awkwardness.
yeah, yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, like I want to like." like talk to Detmar because I really admire her, but I just like don't know what to say to her. Like she totally feels very 17 to me. Um, she's a little bit annoying, but she's okay.
I mean, a lot of teenagers are annoying. I find, yeah, I we have an exception. I think Robbie, our friend Robbie, who comes on the
Hmm.
show, he's not annoying. But I don't spend all
Hmm.
day with him. Robbie, I'm sorry, you might be
Hmm.
annoying, but I don't know. I don't know. Just
Most
kidding.
people, most people younger than 27 are really annoying. That's what I found.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, it's not. I don't think it's that they're annoying. To me, I just find their eagerness is annoying, right? Like, they're just like,
Mhm.
and it's. I think older folks get jealous a little bit, maybe, of like the youth. It's like, where the hell do you get your energy from? Like, I'm tired, and you're still
Mhm.
talking about that thing. And it's like, so so maybe that's it. But we're not here to talk about the age differences. But you had a good point about that, about Adira. You know,
Mhm.
like she is super. She's not just awkward. She's
Mhm.
super awkward. I find at times, or they, I should say. Oops, I
And
did the
the
thing.
thing is, and Gray being gone, I think handicaps her character a lot because, like, I don't know, with the adults, like they write her so awkward and so weird, whereas when she was with Gray, like she could like be herself and we could like get to know her. So I don't know. I don't know that Adira has a good place in the show. Sans Gray, they need to develop her more.
It's interesting. I feel like from some Adira and Gray are a huge source of
And
like
her
no,
shot awkward
I
is no replacement for Tilly's shot awkward, dude.
yeah,
I
Tilly's
miss Tilly, dude.
I miss Tilly. I miss the F out of Tilly too. I
Yeah,
want
dude.
Tilly
Yeah,
back. I'm
dude.
100% on that camp too. It's like, where
Hmm.
the F is Tilly?
Hmm.
Bring me
Hmm.
my Tilly. I want my Tilly.
Dude, she needs to come back like the next two episodes, dude.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes left, so Tilly. We need Tilly back. But going back to Adira for a second and Gray as well, like it's interesting. Like in my conversations with folks, it's everyone has a different opinion about them. Like no two people seem to you know, think the same about them. And it's interesting. Like personally, I'm like I could I don't miss them when they're gone, but I do like it when they're there. So yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but like to me it's like I guess for me personally I don't relate
Hmm.
a lot to that younger vibe anymore. Maybe I'm just
Hmm.
that old, like where I'm just like, "Oh, that's cute. Okay, let's get back to
Hmm.
like what you said, like let's get back to Tilly.
Hmm.
Let's go
Hmm.
back to the adults and see what they're doing."
Hmm.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, when they are there, they don't really detract from the show
Hmm.
for me. Like I don't feel like, oh, it's superfluous either, because I kind of like, like especially this story in particular I found very interesting because I like that Adira is building up the courage to reach out and connect a little bit more
Hmm.
because I love connection things. And so that moment when she goes up to Detmer, like it was totally predictable. I didn't think Detmer was going to be like, get the F away from me, kid, like,
Hmm.
or whatever. I kind of knew that Detmer would be kind and like welcome
Hmm.
Adira, but it was nice to see it. Like it was a good
Hmm.
thing. And it was a reminder
Hmm.
to me that as annoying as the youth are, is that like they look up
Hmm.
to us, and so like I have
Hmm.
to be
Yeah.
more of a Detmer and less of a
Hmm.
Stamets,
Yeah.
like in those
Hmm.
situations. Although Stamets loves Adira, don't get me wrong, he's not rude to her at all, but you know what I mean, like that
Yeah.
kind of vibe,
Yeah. Samus
So
loves the DR. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see here. Both Tilly. Oh, we already read that comment. I really, which felt uncar. Oh, Ruben. That's like, oh, geez. I'm so bad at the chat. I'm so sorry.
Dude,
Okay,
what
so
is Ruben?
Ruben just came in and said hi, and then they had Stress Free K and Ruben are having
Oh,
like a side conversation. Oh, it was just updating us onto where Ruben is in Discovery, so he's not very far. He's making his way through Discovery. Ruben, go watch Star Trek
dude, Ruben's on
Picard.
like season two.
Yeah, he's on like season 2. Ruben, go watch
Mm.
Star Trek Picard season 2. Go, Ruben, go
Mm.
watch Star Trek Picard season
Mm.
2.
Mm.
Stress K says, I feel like Detmer wanted much more from her dad, and it made her sad and feel the need to hide her emotions. Yeah, Detmer's described herself as macho on the show. Like, I wonder if like because she didn't. I wonder if she is her. I wonder if we're seeing her dad. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much of Detmer's like distance and coolness and like calmness, is
Mm.
from her dad. But like, she took maybe the negative part of it, and like maybe
So
she's
the thing is,
turning
I
into it.
can imagine that, like a girl who, at home, like doesn't feel loved, isn't paid attention to, like her dad doesn't talk to her, like she's kind of like the quiet girl, she probably is not really emotional just because she doesn't really know how to show people her emotions because she's, used to like, trying to put up like a strong fight. She doesn't know how to express herself. So I
But
could I could see that.
she's making
But she's
progress
not like
because
outwardly like in grief and like one
right,
of these like sad Susies.
right.
She's just
A
kind of
sad
more like,
Susie. I've never heard
you
sad Susie before. I've heard
know.
Debbie Downer, but I've never heard sad Susie
Mhm.
before. That's
But
great.
she was saying that like she could tell when her dad was down, like she could feel it,
Right on. Yeah.
and like, yeah.
Um. Hey, Evan's in the house. What up? This is our friend, son of Dennis. Nice to see you. Oh my gosh, I gotta call you. I haven't talked to him in a few weeks, so I miss you, bro. Stress Free K also says Tig and Kovich both add a special sauce to each episode. I agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
Starfleet
Totally.
Boy is eternally youthful. Ah.
Indeed,
I'll
indeed.
I'll tell you what, after this huge weekend or week of Star Trek, huge week of, I shouldn't say huge, that reminds me of a terrible former president. This epic week of Star Trek. I feel young. I feel like Captain Kirk in Star Trek 2 when he's like, "Damn, I've been through so much. I feel young. Like there's a lot going on. It's like you
Mm.
got a
Oh,
lot to
good. Oh,
do."
wow. Good.
So yeah, I dig it. Thank you, Stress for K, for saying that. That's very sweet. Disco just has a super deep bench. There are not Neelix to spoil and be annoying.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
Neelix is good, dude. I love Neelix.
I'm like kind of still I'm still trying to love Neelix. He's had his moments, but to me, I just think he's just kind of like now I really like the actor
Mhm.
Ethan Phillips. He's a great actor. And I think he's doing a great job at playing Neelix exactly how Neelix should be played. But I think the character, I think that I haven't seen the character's moment yet. Like, and I'm on season 5, so hopefully by season.
Did you see the episode where he was like on his planet and remembering his sister?
I don't know if I have seen that episode. What season was
Mhm.
that? Do you know what episode or
Oh, I don't
season?
remember. That was a
Do you know
good
the name of
season.
the
Like,
episode?
because they were like in the tree, him and his sister were like in the tree, and like we like saw her, and she, I
Hey,
I love Neelix. I think that Neelix had like a lot of depth. He was so like funny, and he was like really
didn't you think he was like?
caring.
Didn't you think he was like a little much though in his relationship with Kess? Like I thought he was like a little
I mean, she was
overbearing and
only
like
2 years old, dude. That was ridiculous. He was like, come on, dude. Like some dude in his
he was only.
40s. And
I keep
she
forgetting
like
that
2 years
Kess was
old,
like
dude.
2 years old. What the
Dude, like
fuck? Sorry.
Neelix needs to stop, dude. Like, yeah,
Yeah, like what is?
yeah, dude, that was totally inappropriate.
I forgot that Kess was 2 years old. Okay, but she was like 2 going on like 20, like right? Like she was
Mhm.
like her maturity was like
Cause they,
her physical
mhm,
maturity was definitely she's not a 2.
mhm,
Like we got to be
mhm,
clear for anyone who's
mhm.
listening to this who's never seen
Yeah,
Star Trek. Like Neelix
mhm.
was with a
The
being that was the
the
Okampa.
yeah, like they age like 10 years in a year.
Yeah.
They live to be like
Oh,
9.
remember this, by the way, when you watch Star Trek Picard, only because Guinan reveals something about aging for her species, the Elorians, and that's all I'll say.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah. Sorry,
mm,
I had to.
mm,
I couldn't help myself. Like, I had to
mm,
mention. I had to mention
mm.
Star Trek Picard.
Dude, is Ghana 900 years old yet?
She's probably close to it. I mean, who knows how
Mhm.
long Guinan has been around, but I would say she seemed like she was a teenager in the Samuel Clemens episode, or like in her early, in what humans
Mhm,
would consider their early 20s, maybe, right?
mhm,
And so I'm thinking that she's at least like, 500, maybe 400 or 500 years old, maybe around that,
mhm,
like maybe 500 or 600 years old. Actually, now that I'm thinking
mhm.
about it, yeah,
Yeah,
someone's probably done an analysis of it.
yeah.
Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, Stress Free K, come to our space later on Twitter if you have the time, because we'll definitely be talking more about Star Trek Picard. Um, Going back to this episode for a second, so we get a little bit more of General Ndoye, who I hope I spelled Ndoye correct. I gotta look it up, but General Ndoye, who we got in season 3, and she made a big impression.
Her scene was so good, dude. When she
I
was
spelled
like,
it right.
"Oh,
Nice.
something about those opportunities, like taking risks, like makes like a bunch of opportunity." Gosh, dude, it was so good, dude. Damn, I wish I could remember it.
Well, the one I remember is like
I
when
remember
she
the
objects
spirit of.
when she objects to Burnham in the shuttle bay.
Hmm.
She was all like, look, we have only a precious amount of time, and you want to go down to this planet, and
Hmm.
like, she still. What I liked about Nadoya is that she still didn't back down. She still disagreed, but you could tell she was actually like, okay, fine, I get the like the reason you're doing this, because later, and by the way, she's a freaking badass with her like crazy programmable matter knife that she pulls on Book. Like Book tries to get the one up
Hmm.
on, get
Hmm.
to her, and she's just like, she grabs him like this, like puts him against the wall, puts the knife up to him, and she's like, you you better not mess with me, Mr. Book. Like, and then I also like that she called him out. She's like, the whole reason we're here is because you freaking stopped the DMA without everyone's support. You went ahead and took action on your own, and they sent a worse one. So she reminds him, like, I know who you are, and even if you don't know who you are, I know who you are.
Hmm.
And then she's like, listen, because he's like, well, we got to do this, take action. And she's like, listen, I will only agree to help you if you let the negotiations happen, and if they seem like they're failing, that's when you can do your thing. But
Backup plan.
yeah, like it's a backup plan. She was like, I don't want your plan to be the number one plan, because I actually kind of think this crazy Michael Burnham knows what she's doing, which she does. Like everyone's like, Michael Burnham's crazy, but she knows what she's doing. You know what I mean? Like her hunches are like really good. They always, not always have been. She wasn't always right, but she gets it right a lot of the times. And um and so I love that Nadoye, even though she disagreed with Burnham earlier, like when it came down to it, she was like 100% like, no, 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 no. Like we got to do this the right way now. Like we're not going to
Mhm.
do it the way that you guys did it before. I like that. Like I like that you're thinking about a backup, about this other option, but we got to go and make that plan B. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love Nadoye. I think she's awesome. I thought she was great in this episode too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I thought she was good. Yeah, they've given us a lot of background characters over the past 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm liking that.
Yeah, it's true. I also
Yeah.
like the moment where the way they edited. By the way, this episode had two directors. I can't remember their names off the top of my head right now, but this also episode had two directors, and I've been seeing that this is the second time they did that on Discovery, and I think that works because like they jammed a lot into this episode, even though it's like it wasn't an episode that like was super super action oriented. It feels like
Hmm.
it jammed a lot. There was a lot going
Hmm.
on in the episode, but
Hmm.
um but going back to Burnham and Book, I like the moment where they had him in the Jeffries tube, like, and then Burnham leaning against the wall, and he's like touching
Hmm.
the wall, and it was because Nadoye transmitted the like the conversation or whatever to Book,
Hmm.
and I love that he's like thank you for that, and then he just like touches the wall, like that
Hmm.
was like such a sweet moment, and I was just like,
But
man,
I
but
feel like that's not quite right though.
what do
You
you mean? What do you
know,
mean? What do you mean?
like
What's good?
by Midoriya, like I don't know. I feel like an Adoya should have like arrested Book or something, dude. Like I don't know, dude. Like Book and Tarka, why are Book and Tarka still free? Book and Tarka should be in jail.
You're not wrong. That's not a wrong thing.
Like
But
for
they're
real, dude. Like they
yeah,
should, dude.
like that's like it's true. Two reasons. One, where would the drama be, Braxton, if we like that's like we wouldn't be having a conversation and being mad about it if that was the case. But the other thing, I do think that they're both very not Tarka so much, but I do think that Book is convincing. Like he believes. I mean, this is a man who is the last of his kind, pretty much. Like you know, I
Yeah.
mean, like, and so they believe. There's two things at play. I think that he represents something that they don't want to like no one wants to be what Book in the place that Book is right now, but at the
Mm,
same time everyone wants to, like everyone can feel sympathy or empathy for him, so they want to be like there for him at the same time. They want to believe,
mm,
they want to bring him back. Like I get it, like he's in so much grief that they're like maybe Nadoya is like, okay, like I need to help this guy a little bit, like you
mm.
know, like he's totally out of his mind right now. Like he's like and I can't say anything. What can you say? Every answer, anything you say to Book, all he has to say is I lost my planet. And like then what can you say? Like I lost every, like when Book says I lost everything, like he really lost every. It's not like a hurricane where you lose your house. You still have a community you could go to. You could find somewhere. You still have your family and friends. Perhaps you have like, you know, this is like if he meets another person from Quajon, that person is exactly in the same place as he is, meaning they lost pretty much everything that was them. So it's tough, and you feel this, and then also I'm scared. Like I think they might destroy Navarre at least, or Earth. Like the writers of Discovery are like,
Dude, you
well,
know what?
you know what I
I
mean?
want them to
Like
do something crazy like destroy Earth, dude. Like that
no,
would be
no,
nuts, dude. That
no.
would be nuts.
No, audience, what do you think? Should they destroy Earth? I don't think so. But yeah, that would be nuts. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. See, it creates anxiety. It's like it's a gnarly thing. Isn't it funny what attachments we have to our planet, even in fictional senses? Stress Free Case says Tarka could argue that the spore drive belongs to him since neither he nor Book are Starfleet officers. I don't think Quajon even joined the Federation, let alone Book. I don't think Quajon was a part of the Federation. It's true,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't
No, I don't think
remember.
so either.
Hell no. They are not going to blow up our big blue marble. I prefer Carl Sagan's pale blue dot because that's what it is, but I also like big blue marble. That's a fun analogy. But yeah, heavy implications there. But so you were saying that you don't really think Nadoya is doing the right thing, but I think she's sneaky, and I think she like purposely let Book hear that conversation with Burnham and have that moment
Mhm.
with Burnham because she wants to also like kind of help him to be grounded again and like remember what's important, and he does. And I gotta say, like, Book wins my heart. I want a boyfriend. Like, I don't know if I'll ever find someone like Book. I mean, like, this is a man who, even when he's like against you, he's hoping for you. And like that one time when he's like, you know, Michael's gonna get whatever. I believe in Michael 100%. Like she's gonna get
Mhm.
whatever she needs to do this, but he's still I don't know why he's still helping Tarka. That's the question that I have, is like, why
Mhm.
is he still helping this guy
Mhm.
Tarka?
Targa
Uh
is so terrible and manipulative, dude. Oh my gosh. You know, so the thing is, but also,
but doesn't
Michael is
that
a
last
woman.
story but doesn't
But
that
the thing
last
is,
story go ahead, sorry.
Michael is a better catch than Book is. I mean, Book has a cool ship, but that dude doesn't have like any position. He doesn't really have shit. Like Michael is like the captain of a ship with, like the spore drive and all this influence. She's going to be the Federation president. Like he has so many reasons to be with her, and she only has like one
Dang,
to be with him.
what is that one reason, Braxton? Are you saying like the sex?
I mean, I wasn't even saying the sex. I'm just
Oh,
talking
okay.
about like him being like good looking.
Oh, okay.
You know,
That's part of it.
I
That
mean,
could. That's what leads to the sex, right? Like, I
I
feel
mean, it's like one in a
like-
possible. He might be horrible in bed.
Okay, I have to stand for Book again, just for a second, just to say that like he does have more than one quality that I think Burnham can like, and one of those is that like he knows how to lighten up. Like he Burnham until that was one of the things like people were all like I felt it certainly when she got with Book, she just like could she like it was like a sigh. Like she just like
Mhm.
let loose. We got to see Michael like just
Dude, let me.
relax.
Okay, I'm
For
gonna go off camera for 2 seconds and distract this cat. Okay,
okay.
two seconds. I'm still listening now. I'm still
All
listening.
right, but that's what I was just saying. That's all I had to say is that like so that's two. Okay, another thing you say. So you said good looking. Okay, so yeah, fine. But that it's not in his control. It's funny that I like Braxton's gone. Audience, help me out here with other reasons why Book is awesome for Burnham. So yeah, he helps her relax. He's a great he's a great advocate for her, but he's not afraid to tell her when he thinks she's wrong, right? So like he's able to show at the same time he's able to show and not in a insincere way. He's able to show that look, I'm 100% on your side, but I disagree with you, and I think
Mm,
that's special. Like that's a real true partner. You know what I mean? Like that's someone who, and he's proven that he does that. Let's see what else is booked. That's three. I already named three things. Do you need? I
mm,
need to go more. Do you need more?
mm,
Sure, he's a great goddamn pilot. His fashion sense is impeccable.
mm,
He's like what else? Let's see. Oh, you feel safe around him. He's like very much a traditional but also a traditional masculine figure, but also very
mm,
like not masculine, if that makes any
mm.
sense. Like not afraid to be emotional. So I guess he's the new definition of like
Dude, Michael needs
you know.
a new love interest in season 5, dude. Like, I want like, well,
Hey,
We got
hey,
Marcelo.
Marcelo, how are you?
good. Sorry I'm late, guys, but I I went to go see the Batman. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, right on.
Very good.
Uh,
Did you love
hey,
it?
what's that?
Did you love it?
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. It
Oh,
was really
cool.
really
Awesome.
great. It was really great.
Marcelo, were you able to hear any of our conversation before you popped on?
No, I just popped on.
Oh, okay. That's super cool. Well, we're almost ending, but I will just
Okay.
give you a quick catch up. We're just talking about Book. Braxton said that Book is only good for one thing, and that's his good looks. And I was trying to prove to, and he was saying that Michael's a better catch because she has all these great qualities. Like she's like a captain. She has like great prospects in the future. She's like, she's also good looking. What else, Braxton? Like you just went on. There was like a list or whatever, and so I just gave Braxton three things that Book is other than cute right now, and so I'm just trying to stand for Book. So that's where we were at in this conversation.
Book needs
But
some standing, dude, because he's being like manipulated and hoodwinked by a hustler and making extremely poor decisions.
oh, here we got some stuff from the audience too. Oh yeah, Book talks to the animals, dude. Like that's an amazing quality. I think that's like
Mm,
that's
mm.
that's
Yeah,
so
but yeah,
attractive.
yeah,
He
That's such
does
a,
like cats,
he
you
loves
know.
cats. What do you think? Book
Hmm,
loves
yeah,
cats, right? Yeah.
yeah.
See,
Hmm,
you see. I
hmm.
um,
don't know, Braxton.
uh,
I
I
don't.
mean, the one thing I will say about Book this season is that I think that ever since he lost his planet Quajon, I think that he's been really susceptible to this jackass of
Oh, you're on the Tarka sucks camp,
yeah,
right?
he's a dick. Um,
Dang, dang.
uh, and
Marcelo has feelings.
and no,
Marcelo has some feelings about Tarka.
no, I mean, no, and I think that Book is a better person or a better character than he's being illustrated right now. I think that he's kind of still dealing with Quajon, and that's why he, for some inexplicable reason, is being played like a violin by this idiot Tarka.
Dude, Book is a beta. Like Michael Burnham wears the pants in their relationship,
And so
Yeah.
does
and
Tarka.
then he
Wow.
is like led and
You just
manipulated
called
by
I don't think that alphas and betas exist. First of all, like I don't think that's a thing. I think we can go into those roles in like very casually,
Mm.
depending on the person we're with or whatever. That's a different conversation. But I get what you're saying. Yes, to Tarka and to he's definitely the submissive one for Tarka for some reason, which I don't know why, and he's also submissive to Burnham. It's true. He's
Yeah.
more. I would call him more like submissive, slightly submissive with Burnham, but for some weird reason, he's very submissive with Tarka. Like he really feels.
Mhm.
I think this is the empath thing. We have to always remember that Book is an empath, right? So he's kind of like Deanna Troy. Remember, she was empathic, not telepathic, like
Yeah,
her,
yeah, but
right? And she was always getting feelings from people. So maybe he's feeling something really raw, like something really. Maybe we should reconsider Tarka because Book is sympathetic
no, we
to
shouldn't.
him.
No, we shouldn't. No, but it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point that you bring about Deanna Troy. I think Deanna Troy is too. I think Deanna Troy would have been too smart to fall for Tarka's bullshit.
I do too. I'm sorry. Yes, I hate
no,
to
no,
say,
and-
but Book.
no.
It's not because Book isn't smart. It's
No,
just
it's-
savvy. I would say he's more
Right.
innocent than she is. She knew a
Right.
little bit more about the universe or about
You
the
know, but-
galaxy. Yeah, like,
Yeah, but even in this episode, I thought that Book was going to turn the corner, and I thought that he was going to come to his senses. He did, kind of, but in other ways, I think he's still dealing with Tarka for some
Mhm.
weird reason. Yeah, I just don't like him as a character. Not Book. I don't like Tarka.
Mhm.
so like the last week's episode didn't affect you.
No,
as
no, no.
The
No,
their
I-
relationship between him and what's his
That
name?
alien dude.
Is it Oro?
Yeah, the aura.
Or I can't remember. Sorry.
No, I
Cute
couldn't-
though, cute alien. I would totally date that alien. Just
He
saying.
looked like the cross
Yeah, what is
between
it?
Saru's species and a Ferengi.
Yeah, a
no,
little
but-
bit. Yeah, yeah.
No, but if I just could say something about last, because I haven't been on in a couple weeks. I didn't like last week's episode at all. I didn't care about Tarka's backstory at all. I was bored to tears. But for some reason I feel. I mean, you guys can prove me wrong if you guys think of another way. But for some reason, I feel that for the last 3 or 4 episodes, they've been talking about what to do about the DMA, but there hasn't been any forward momentum for the last 3 or 4 episodes. But I'm happy to say that in the last episode, the episode that we're talking about now, I did feel some forward momentum finally. But for the most
Right
part,
on.
for the most part, for the last couple of weeks, I thought that the story has been stuck in neutral.
I will say that the season, I could see where folks are saying the season is perhaps a bit protracted, but I would say that for me, I used to complain that it wasn't. So I'm actually happy. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm actually happy that it's like this. So personally, I'm okay with it. Like, I trust that the writers it's going to kind of, I'm really
Come back
trusting the
around?
writer. Yeah, I feel like it's going to come back. It's going to pay off. You want to pay off, right? So
Yeah,
I feel like we're going to get that payoff
I
this
don't-
season.
yeah, I don't.
But-
I don't.
oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. No. I don't think it's gonna be like a big disappointment as like the Mystery of the Burn was. Well,
No, but in addition to that, just in general, my biggest critique of Discovery season 1 and 2 was that they didn't just like linger enough on something or like spend time unpacking something. Like everything was just like always stress, always go. So I personally am enjoying this, but I see where people are like a little frustrated because that's not what we're used to with Discovery. Like we got used to Discovery being another way, you know?
no. I mean the one. thing
Maybe
that
I'm just trying to. You said prove me wrong if you can.
Right,
That's a
right,
good
no.
chat. Like, but,
Yeah, no.
but not really. Like, that's
They unpacked,
I might be reaching here.
folded, and ironed all
no,
the
the one
clothes
thing-
before.
the one thing that I will say to your point, Starfleet boy,
Thank
is
you.
that I do feel that the show has slowed down quite a bit, and for the first time in this show, I feel like they're taking room to breathe and to sort of just sit with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love that. Yeah.
Right. And my favorite thing about this episode, my favorite thing about this episode is the fact that Kayla Detmer got something to do.
Yeah, we
I
talked.
was
We talked about her at length.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was so happy that she got something to do. I was so happy.
I don't want to go back to the Detmer thing, but I do want to hear what your favorite part of her, because we talked about her. I hope you get a chance to go back and listen to it because it was a fun conversation
No,
for that, and we missed you.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite part of Detmer's story in this episode?
No, I really like the fact that when Saru was panicking, when Colbert panicked, when Michael panicked, that Detmer was the one that didn't panic because she used her sort of she used the things that she learned
She
from
said she said
right.
I learned to put things in compartments or boxes, right? Yeah, yeah.
boxes. No, but I just loved it because, as you know, I'm a huge Detmer fan, and this is like the first substantial thing that we've seen her do since she flied Book's ship way back in.
Yeah, but she also remember last season she had like a really kind of like, I think for a few episodes we explored Detmer's trauma, right? From everything, and like she mentions it, and that was another nice moment with she like gives a nod to Hugh. Remember, she says like, "Well, I'm glad I went through the therapy or whatever. That's kind of helped me deal with it."
Yeah, no. Also, I did like the fact that they got off the ship and they used those awesome uniforms. They went to a planet.
Dude, those suits were awesome.
Yeah, and but the one thing that made me that I cried bullshit just a little bit was when they were explaining why the dust, got to through their suits, and I'm like, if Starfleet built those suits, they probably built those suits to capture everything. But that's
I
not
have a really plausible. I feel like I have an answer that
Okay,
might
what is
be like so. Okay, so the whole time there's a couple of factors at play. So the way the programmable matter filters work is that anything that's in the Starfleet database, it filters out, and it could probably and it could probably like improvise or figure things out, like, but it's but right now we are disconnected from Discovery. First of all, they established like we don't even detect life signs, including our own, remember? So like the suit's sensors are probably, and also the suit's communication or connection to the network or whatever is probably a little bit more diminished. So then when this new compound, which they had stated before, was not in the Federation database, right? They said, oh, whatever this compound is, it's not in our database. The thing thought it was just air. Like the filter didn't understand that this compound was important one way or the other. It just let it in. And that's why it was affecting the crew. And that's why it worked. As soon as they were able to filter out the compound, the suits did their job and everyone came to their senses. So it made sense to me personally, but I don't know if you buy that.
No, I mean, I
Think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that? What?
Yeah, I mean, I buy it just a little bit, but you know what? I'm willing to chalk it up to writer convenience, but okay. Okay.
Well, it was convenient in a way that I thought was plausible based on what I saw in the episode. Maybe I'm imagining you like some of those things. I've seen a lot of Star Trek, so I'm probably fill in the technology, the blanks a lot easier, or maybe or in weirder ways, I guess maybe. But
but it was just so nice to see a different dynamic. It was so nice to see Michael, Saru, and Detmer and Colbert together doing something.
Right. No, it was great.
Yeah, no, and I liked it. I liked this episode, but it wasn't perfect. It was okay, but it wasn't that perfect.
Right on. What was it? I wanted to talk about one thing that we hadn't talked about, Marcel, yet, is the structure. You mentioned the 10C homeworld and going down to a planet. What did you all think of the homeworld itself? Like the structure, like what do you predict this civilization, based on what we saw of the 10C homeworld, which maybe there's a chance it's not even the 10C homeworld, by the way. This might not even be their homeworld, but what we saw is that there was a star which had like this insane like Dyson sphere type technology
really
around
cool.
it. And so they were pretty powerful. Whoever lived on this planet were pretty powerful. They're also huge, whatever they are. They're like gigantic. The structure itself was like enormous. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm gonna sneeze. So just.
Oh,
keep going.
okay.
I'm
See, I
guys,
pay attention. I pay
Thank
attention.
you.
I thought you were
Thank
like,
you. Thank you. Thank you. So hold on, I just gotta. All right, now you know what? I'm good. But thank you for paying attention to me. I appreciate that.
I was like, wait, Marcel's trying to make a point. But anyways, so yeah, what do you guys think? What do you speculate we're gonna see when we finally see and are we gonna see them next episode? Do you think?
No, if we're gonna see them, I think that they're gonna do one more episode of build up, and what we're gonna have is they're gonna throw everything at us, plus the kitchen sink, in the finale. And I do think once we meet these people, whether they want to kill us or whether they want to join us, I think that they're going to be really, really interesting, brand new aliens that we've never seen before. I don't think they're going to be connected to anything that we've seen previously in the Star Trek universe. That's my take on it so far. And the Dyson spear thing is really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a really cool moment. Braxton, any thoughts on the 10C?
So I feel like we're gonna meet them in the finale. I feel like they're gonna start communicating with them next episode, but we won't actually see them. And I feel like somehow like Michael Burnham is gonna like give them like a comforting phase, and like they're gonna like get their empathy back. They'll be like, oh yeah, like don't destroy us. Like, you know what it's like to have your world destroyed. And maybe Book will be in there too. Book will be like, oh yeah, like you just destroyed my world, and they'll feel shame.
Yeah, they gotta kill that Tarka dude. They gotta kill Tarka.
I have a question for you guys also, and the audience as well, whoever's still here.
Sorry guys, sorry.
My question is, so newer Star Trek has not done a cliffhanger at the end of the season that you have to wait till the next season.
Oh, that'd be really cool
to do. I mean, like we had like the Enterprise show up as a like, ooh, surprise, but it wasn't like it didn't have anything to do. It didn't have it.
I'm sorry. That was a pretty massive cliffhanger, I thought.
I didn't think of it as a cliffhanger so much as a surprise ending. You know what I mean? Like to me, like a cliffhanger is more like the best of both worlds, where like you don't know the resolution to that episode doesn't happen till the next season, right? So I feel like every season of Discovery like at least wraps up the big story. Like in the first season we wrap up the Klingon story, in the second season we wrap up the Red Angel story, and then in the third season we wrap up the Burn story, right? Do you think that this is going to be the first season of Discovery that doesn't wrap up the story? And do you think there will be a cliffhanger maybe that we're going to be like, shit, we're not going to find out what happens till the next season? Like do you think that's going to happen, or do you think it's going to wrap up nicely into a little bow and finish the season as it has done before with a little surprise ending at the end, like with a little pop, like this is what you have to look forward to for next season?
Yeah,
I think that we're going to have a good wrap, because that's what they do on Discovery.
That's what they do.
Yeah. You agree with that, Marcel?
Yes, I'm with Braxton on this one. It would be cool to see them do a cliffhanger and go into next season with the resolve of the cliffhanger. But I agree with Braxton. I think they're going to wrap it up because that's what they do on the show.
I kind of tend to agree as well, but I'm kind of like suspicious that we're going to get something different. So we'll see. Gentlemen, we're coming up at the end of the hour. I sound like a radio DJ. Coming up to the end of the hour here on Starfleet Boy. Any closing statements? And do you guys feel like giving a rating? I'm going to give my rating for this episode. It's a 10. There you go. I gave it another 10. I'll tell you something else. This is really funny. I came into the discussion with a 9 in my head. Like that's That's where I came into
Really?
it. But
Okay.
yeah, but talking about it, I'm like, wow, actually, this episode had a lot more value than I had originally perceived. And in the discussion of it, I saw
No,
a
no.
lot more. And I again, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this episode like over and over again, but I
Mm,
certainly will remember this episode.
mm,
I will.
mm.
I will. I will. I like I said when I jumped in here later. Like I said, I like this episode, but it wasn't perfect. And with that being said, I'll give this episode a 5.
Oh, well, okay.
So
That's a
I'm
huge whoa.
yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
And what
No,
about you,
I'm in the middle.
Braxton?
So last week I was at an 8.25, but I have to go down for this one just because it just wasn't enough action for me. So 7.85.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty good. Audience, let us know what you thought of this episode. Everyone tonight, whoever has a Twitter account tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be doing my very first space,
Oh, that one's gonna be good, people.
the Final Frontier on Twitter.
Oh,
And
that one's gonna be
so
good.
we're gonna talk about Star Trek. Wow, you're really excited. Thank you.
Oh, hell
We're
yeah.
gonna maybe Braxton will show up too. We're gonna talk about Star Trek Picard, season two's opener premiere, spectacular. I have to say, opener. There you go. I spoiled my,
Oh,
but it's all like I spoiled what I thought of
dude,
it.
this
No, no,
episode,
no, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
no, don't,
okay.
don't hype
No,
it too much. Don't hype it too much.
no spoilers, but still, this
Save it
episode
for
was
save it for the space.
glorious.
Save it for the space. The space
Alright.
will have spoilers, so if you want to go to that space, please watch the episode so you're not spoiled. And I highly recommend you watch it. You don't want to hear about these things. You want
Oh,
to
it
watch
was
it.
great.
Like
It was great.
the things we're going to
Go
be
and
talking
watch it,
about.
guys.
Yeah. And so the way space works, by the way, it's a little different. Unlike here where we have a live chat and we can read the live chat, it's less. There's no chat, so you have to ask permission to speak. There's like an interface, so if you just like ask for permission to speak, I put you on stage, and then you can say something. So we're gonna try that kind of interaction and welcome new people. Hopefully, it goes good. I'm gonna have to probably explain the riot act a couple of times and like remind people to be nice and respectful and casual and informal. But
Yeah,
but
because
we'll
you
see
have
how
to
it. Well, no, it's just it happens these days.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But anyways, I hope the familiar friends who come on this will also come to that. And we'll see how it goes. It's my first space. The reason we're doing a space for Star Trek Picard is I want to finish these Thursday evening discussions for Discovery. So we're gonna do it
Mhm.
for a couple more weeks, and then the Starfleet Boy Thursday reactions will only be on space. We won't do a video reaction, but then Star Trek Picard discussions are on Sundays at 2 p.m. So it gives me time because I want to soak
Oh.
up Picard. I want to think
Oh, so
about
you're going into
it.
Sunday then. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, this
I like that.
like new Star Trek conversation will move to Sundays at 2, so hopefully we'll do
Alright.
that. But we
Okay,
can also
alright.
do little surprise things on here and there. Surprise streams are always great. And the other thing is we do Starfleet Boy After Dark, and so we'll definitely be talking about the latest Star Trek there because like no one's going to be able to help
So is
themselves.
Picard gonna release on Wednesday nights all the
No.
time?
No.
Yeah, same thing.
Thursday.
Like, well, if you want to stay up till 2 in the morning, if you're on the East
Thursday.
Coast, but
It's
it's
Thursday.
Thursday is the drop date.
Yeah, it's
Is
Thursday.
what it truly is. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what's happening over here. Also, but that's another cool thing is since we're talking about streams, Friday nights is TQIF, and it starts out with Text Trek, and Text Trek always does an amazing job, a deep dive with awesome images and everything like that. And I'm on that show a lot doing behind the scenes. I'm the Scotty of the show and I love it. so you guys got to come to that stream. So Text Trek will be still doing their streams on Friday nights before Starfleet Boy After Dark, and TQIF will continue. So check that out. So little channel update there. Marcelo, what have you got to promote this week?
I got my stuff. So I have my 2 shows. My first show is my personal podcast, the Redwall Podcast. If you guys want to know more about me, about my personal life, and about shit that you don't want to know, go and listen to that. A brand new season will start off in early April. So I've been holding those episodes for about a year. So I'm finally excited to release all those. And my other podcast is Radio 815, which is a podcast about the Bad Robot universe and everything J.J. Abrams. I also have two YouTube channels. I have my personal YouTube channel, Balloonhead Productions, and I have a YouTube channel dedicated to my podcast about J.J. Abrams. It's Radio 815 on YouTube. So, and I also have a Twitter. My Twitter is CreekFanatic88. So, if you want to know everything I'm doing, go to my Twitter because that's the best place to find me.
Woohoo! Excellent. And Braxton, where can people find you, and what are you doing?
Oh, find me on Twitter at Leviathan026. I don't really have anything to plug, but just lately I have been watching and listening to the Shuttlepod podcast. And
Yes.
I've really been enjoying.
Thanks for promoting that, by the way.
Trip
That's awesome.
and Malcolm
Dominic
do
Keating.
dramatic readings.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
awesome.
I think it's really awesome. And if you like Star Trek, you should check that out.
It's really delightful. I'm glad that I finally caught up on Enterprise. I'm still catching up on Voyager. I will soon be a completionist
You
in
are
Star
never
Trek.
going to finish Voyager.
Even though
I refuse
Enterprise
to
was
believe
trash.
What?
I want to finish Voyager because there's so much knowledge of Star Trek and Voyager. Like everyone who loves Star Trek Voyager like blows my mind when they're like, this happened and the Borg can do this and this, and I'm like, what? Like I didn't know that. Like there's like so much knowledge. Star Trek Voyager is and especially about the Borg. Let me tell you, I feel like there's a lot of Borg development in Star Trek. Well, you guys watched it, right? You guys both watched it,
absolutely.
So I gotta catch up. I gotta do it more now than ever, especially with Star Trek Picard doing what it's doing. I gotta catch up. So yeah. All right, well, we're gonna sign off now. Oh, PE, thanks for coming in here at the end. Anyways, we're gonna sign off now. See you back again at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but on Twitter Spaces instead. Live long and prosper, and we will see you.